At Stanford, exploring novel ways of learning is in our DNA.
It brings our students into this community of scholars.
What do we learn from media other than books?
We should push the boundaries of our traditional program.
Who gets to make music? Who gets to make art?
The 3 Books program is one of our new student orientation programs wherein a faculty moderator is selected and they pretty much design a common reading experience for our entire incoming class.
It brings our students into this community of scholars and it lets them know what they can expect as a member of our Stanford community.
Traditionally, 3 Books was just 3 books.
For the first time, Stanford's 3 Books includes forms beyond the book. A documentary film presented on DVD with attention to a special features epilogue, a suite of smartphone applications described on a website with links to articles and YouTube videos, and delivered on iPhones in the fall as usable tools, as well as a book.
Partnering with ACS was clear.
VPUE and NSO decided they wanted to work on and incorporate the arts initiative as part of the 3 Books program.
They would be valuable partners in this enterprise, both because of their expertise, but also we thought it was actually a really good fit for new student orientation to get students familiar with the services offered.
And give them a sonic scavenger hunt and set them free to, in a sense, learn about the sonic landscape of the Stanford campus, to introduce them to places that maybe they wouldn't find initially or ever during their 4 years at Stanford, and then also to do that with new friends, new colleagues that they had made, roommates and so forth.
It was definitely interesting, not what was expected.
This was the first project that we've done managing iOS devices. iOS management is still fairly new. We ran into some difficulties in deploying the apps. To build the image for the iPads, we imported the apps into Apple Configurator, which allows you to stamp configurations and apps onto iOS devices.
Apple, they also were very instrumental in helping the imaging team and helping us deploy the correct image and have the right applications on the iPad.
We configured an iPad exactly the way that we wanted it to be set up and captured a backup which we would apply later to all of the devices. And once we passed all of our tests, we were ready to go.
While the image was developed by the imaging team, we actually had to image them.
I think, is this something that we can feasibly implement?
We had to image 380 individual devices.
Logistically, how is this going to work?
This project was not simply taking 300 plus devices out of the box and giving them to students.
In order to do that, we had to be very organized and come up with a plan beforehand.
The student staff are the people who have the direct ties to our new freshmen. It was natural to bring in the experts, our resident computer consultants.
We had over 40 freshman RCCs that we had to deploy devices to. 7 full-time techs working for 9 hours on the actual deployment day. The deployment had to happen within a day or 2.
We worked with them to help us devise a system.
We ended up solving the problem was using banker boxes.
We could effectively check out hundreds of devices safely and responsibly.
The return process for the 3 Books program was slightly easier than the deployment process because we weren't on as much of a time crunch. While the students were actively going through the scavenger hunt for 3 Books, I noticed them on campus using them for directions and in the applications that we had installed.
Ready? Go.
Because it was a unique app and that it recorded the sounds and it kind of mishmashed it together, so it was pretty cool.
I had an iPad.
Okay. I had an iPod.
I think arts and digital technology are very complementary for university learning. The apps allow students to explore their creative sides, whereas they may have been more restrained before.
It was nice just because we're in an age of multimedia.
You look at an app and it's something that takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds to open, figure out, and have fun with it.
What was really challenging was for members of our Stanford community and for our students to have a program called 3 Books and not receive 3 books.
I thought it was kind of cool because it mixed it up and allowed us to explore different mediums, but at the same time, I think I would have preferred 3 books.
I mean, it was nice to explore art like through different media like that.
I think it could have been better if we had done it earlier in NSO.
They have this opportunity with their peers to talk about things that maybe sometimes they don't agree on.
I don't know, I would dissent a little bit. I'd say that, well, like, I'm starting to know my my immediate neighbors.
Yeah, I think it was very unique and gave a different perspective of the concept of art and how it's changing in the future generations.
And to learn how to have this conversation, to learn how to be adults and scholars.
I think the choice of those books definitely made a great point about, you know, what is considered art.
The most rewarding part for me was seeing good stuff happen when good people get together.
It was mutually understood on both ends what the greater goal was.
That's how universities work. This was a project that a faculty member came up with. It had the support of administration. Multiple groups were able to commit funding. Industry partners were engaged from the very beginning. And it was cool and exciting. And human capital was really what made this work, not necessarily just the iPads or the tools or the computers or the technology. Seeing people work on something totally new and exciting that has never been done before at the university.